Hi everybody, this is Jim Egan, head of school, Synapse School with a Friday update. It's a beautiful day here. It's in the 80s, gorgeous. A little strange for February, but I'll take it. We had a great day. Once again, Friday is a day for middle schoolers that is always changing, always adapting. The kids seem to run in on Fridays here. I even actually thought to myself, I wrote it on my board, should we make more days like Fridays? Fridays at Synapse are extremely fun, and kids have a lot of energy that they bring to our Fridays here. And due to our flexible schedules and our eclectic offerings, which are an important part of who we are at Synapse. Okay, I'm going to talk today about tuition. I'm going to talk a little bit about the behaviors that we're seeing at school or in schools in general, and why I think they are more pronounced this year. And then I'll give you a little bit of a COVID update too. But I do want to say right away a little announcement. Enrollment contracts go out today. I just talked to Dana Story, and admissions are going to go out at some point today. She's working very hard on getting them out. They're going to be due back on Friday, 2/18, next Friday. Okay, so they are going out today, and they are due back on 2/18. So parents, please help us with that process. Very important to us. Okay, back to tuition. You've got my letter by now. Thank you to those parents who wrote to me in support of our tuition for next year. There is an increase, and as I said, that increase is due to inflation. It's due to wanting to pay our teachers at top of market value, and we really do work on that. We're different than most schools in how we compensate here at Synapse. We're very proud of that, and this really is because of our parents' ability to work with us on this goal. We certainly took online this year the leasing Sports House, long-term lease. That facility is dynamic and exciting and is going to bring so much to our school, but that is a massive cost, right, to us on an annual basis. And also we are looking to move our tuition in line not only regionally, but also from a TK8 perspective to make sure that it actually covers the cost of the program. And so I want to speak specifically to kindergarten. For years, we have created a tuition that was lower than the actual operational cost. I think if you know our teachers, right, they are exceptional down there. We have so many specialists that are working in that program as well. And I believe those teachers in kindergarten are specialists, right? I don't know when I was a middle school teacher or even a high school teacher if I could have gone and taught kindergarten. I think that job would be out of my scope of talent, so to speak. I would say I think our kindergarten teachers could go up and teach multiple grade levels throughout our school for sure. Kindergarten teachers are specialists. They deserve to be treated that way, compensated that way, and we've built it that way. So that means we also have to bring our tuition in line to the talent necessary for that level. I know other schools don't do it this way. I think they're wrong. I think if you were to spend any time in any kindergarten, probably anywhere, you would see incredible professionals doing amazing things with the earliest learners who are still trying to figure out even how to go to school. So I don't think this is a controversy, but I wanted to give it a little bit of clarity. There's only so much you can say about it in an email. Okay, so that's the tuition letter. I did want to also bring to light some of what I've been thinking regarding student behaviors. You've probably been reading in the press, there's been things written in the New York Times, in the Atlantic, the Wall Street Journal, everywhere about behaviors and the concern that students are reacting in certain ways due to the pandemic. I think this to be true. I had a wonderful, illuminating conversation with Elizabeth Scafani, who coordinates our PE and is our coach extraordinaire here. She coordinates our sports as well. And she and I were talking about some of the student behaviors that we're seeing here on campus. And she brought to my attention that these kids may be dealing with or are dealing with a trauma, right? And she talked about trauma informed teaching, something that she was learning about through her graduate school work that she just completed. And she said something to me that I thought was both incredibly illuminating, again, to use that word, but also very simple, that students everywhere, even here at Synapse, are behaving normally to an abnormal situation, right? These are normal reactions due to an abnormal situation. And then we talked about trauma-informed teaching, right? A lot of this is already being done in deep poverty areas of our country, but now we're seeing collectively a worldwide trauma for children, right? That they've been in masks for 2 years, that they've been dealing with something so different than anything they have encountered before, that we have to treat it that way. I think Elizabeth is right. And so what do we do here at Synapse? What can we do? Well, I think our school is better equipped than most to handle this. For example, trauma-informed teaching, it's telling teachers that they should expect the unexpected. I would say Synapse does that by design, right? We are adaptable. We are expecting the unexpected most of the time. I think trauma-informed teaching, from what I've been reading about it as well, is to employ thoughtful interactions. Be intentional in how you interact with kids. Build relationships with intention. And I was reading about one teacher's way of doing this at another school, but I think it's quite interesting, is to take, say you're having a student you're having a hard time connecting with a relationship, to have, this one teacher had a plan, 2 minutes a day for 10 days in a row to talk to this student about something unrelated to that class, right? So 2 minutes a day, 10 days in a row, it's 2 by 10 it's called, something unrelated to that class. This was in order to intentionally build relationships. We tend to do this here anyway. There's an informality and deep relationships are being built by teachers. But I think that was just an interesting example that I've been reading about. And to promote predictability in the classroom and consistency. That is one of the reasons why we are bringing our lower school kids into their classrooms away from those open spaces, right? To build in more consistency. So we need to do this as a school. We need your support as parents to understand that the unexpected is going to happen, and that these behaviors that we're seeing from kids in our school and in every school, by the way, these are, as Elizabeth said, these are normal reactions to an abnormal situation. And I think when you see this, Elizabeth also, because I asked her, what do you do, Elizabeth? What do you suggest using this trauma lens that teachers do? And she said, you need to go beyond empathy. And I think we are more equipped than most communities to handle that. It doesn't mean we don't have, how do I say this? We do have work to do as well, but I think that's the reaction we need to have, right? There are kids that are suffering, there are people who are suffering. What's behind that? How do we go beyond empathy to build that bridge, make that relationship happen, make those small changes in the classroom for that student in order to get to the next step? Because we'll get through it. We will do that. So I wanted to share that with you because I thought it was, for my Friday, that was a really interesting, elevated conversation that I was lucky to have. Thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, COVID, again, we're decentering it. Long and short of it is that we're not making any strong moves, even though the mask mandate looks like it's going to be dropped on Friday, perhaps throughout the region. We'll see how that goes. I think that's how it's going to be. We will look to remove masks after the break. We only have 1 week to break. And then we will allow the county officials and the health departments, as well as the state and local officials, to dictate the next moves around masks outside, inside, around mandates. At this point, I'm actually optimistic that the public officials are going to take more ownership of those decisions for schools to allow us to focus on teaching and learning and not have to make these micro changes all the time. So we're not going to be rushing to anything. We're going to be following the officials and what they say. When they say masks can come off, that's when we will consider taking them off. When they say something has to be mandated, then we will mandate it. But until then, we're not going to make any decisions around that. So we continue to have more and more success with our programs at this point, so there's no need to rush to anything next week. We're not going to be doing that. Okay, and I'm looking at my notes, I don't want to forget anything. I wanted to end with this. This was an email that I received from a graduate that I shared on an admissions tour, and I shared with some others as well. It came to me unsolicited. and it's from, I'll leave the student's name anonymous just because I think that's probably the right thing to do here on YouTube. But it came to me, said, "Hey Jim, I hope you and all of Synapse are doing well. As part of my senior year English class, students are tasked with writing an essay on education and what we think could be the solutions to this modern school system." So I should tell you, this is a graduate of Synapse who's now a senior in high school. He goes to Choate, fabulous boarding school in Connecticut, highly selective, super dynamic boarding school that a number of our kids have gone to recently and are applying to as well. So he's a senior there. He said, "Synapse has forever held a special place in my heart. Thus, I decided to share my experience with SEL. My middle school has always my answer when asked by anyone how I was so prepared on the college prep level. And I say it's because of these intangible emotional skills that I learned at Synapse. Thus, I wrote my essay on the effects of social emotional learning in the academic development of youth, drawing from my own experiences as well as other sources. I am so proud to have been a part of this school, this movement, to spread the word about EQ and SEL to the world, and I am so grateful to have even had this opportunity in the first place. I owe it all to you and your amazing community, it's our community I should say, in those 4 rectangular buildings. Now we have 5. Attached is the piece I wrote. I hope you like it. I look forward to catching up again when I come back in a few weeks. Have an amazing day." Not all our kids come out this way, but this is exactly what we hope happens when a student experiences SEL from the bottom up, right? This is a student that in 8th grade left our school equipped with the understanding that the most important thing is the emotional sort of layer of skills, so you can build on top of that the academic skills and the social skills and the creativity skills. This is a student who's thriving at a very competitive high school, Choate Rosemary Hall. I was told by his parents that he was recently accepted into an engineering program at the University of Michigan. He's waiting to hear from other schools as well. So this is a student who is academically prepared. I believe he's also, he may be the captain of the water polo team. This is a competitive kid. But at the end of the day, he has realized that EQ and social and emotional skills are of paramount importance. And in fact, as he said, they are, if more schools and school systems would adopt the belief that we have, that this is the essential ingredient to all school success, then school systems would be more successful themselves. So I wanted to share that. It was really something that sort of knocked my socks off, if I wore socks, which I don't wear them very much, but I thought you would enjoy it too. Okay, have a wonderful weekend, be safe, and we'll see you soon.